Yeah. Let's have a look. You've just launched. So on, have you typed in anything on the document? Because I can't see anything. Just yeah. Uh huh. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm feeling. So I should have made clear in the instructions, but you know why we were doing that process at the end of finding the person's email, and we were trying to find the back. So what I wanted you to do is basically we'll go through it together. So what I wanted you to do is do this Nike Air Jordans, and obviously mine's specific to yeah. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah. Okay. Let's see then. Yeah, I mean you can do it that way. Right. Let's have a look. So Nike's obviously going to have one of the biggest number of backlinks in the world. This one here, I mean, this is specific to Thailand. So let me try and take that bit out, and I should get the same result, hopefully, as you in America. So let me just check that that goes through to. Cool. That looks American to me. Uh huh. Yeah, I'm just actually. Cool. Right, so this is the American one, so it's got way more backlinks. So yeah, I mean, what you would do is you would just type in that URL that I clicked on, and we're on the American network, and you can see, yeah, and then we're going to go into backlinks, and this one here. Okay, let's have a look where that leads to. I'm not going to be able to access that because I'm in Thailand. What I can kind of work out it is anyway. Looks like a ar.search. Yahoo.com. Okay, yeah. So how it works with backlinks is remember I was showing you I think it was the plumbing client and they had all of those backlinks that I think there were like 31, 35 backlinks that were no good and I said I was going to just remove those. And so what we can see here is I'm just looking now. This looks like all right. So you can see that this is the search function on Yahoo and it looks like Jordan plus Pickford, and Pickford's a famous football player or soccer player, and it looks like what they've probably done. I can't see it, but I'm assuming this is what they've done. Is that they've said Jordan Pickford, who's the soccer player, has been seen wearing Nike Jordans, and then they've linked to it. But you can see that the link has been removed; it's been lost. And so it was last seen a week ago. You can see this one was November. This one was November as well. And so the link is no longer. Now, aside from that, I mean, what you can do is you can just basically, this is another backlink example, right? Like this is another way you can get backlinks is I can see here that that link has been removed, right? And so we're going to have to, you're going to have to follow along here a little bit. It's going to be slightly complicated. So I can see here that this link has been removed, last seen 7 days ago. And so what I would do is let's pretend this URL is a blog post. And I would reach out to that person and say, I've just seen that the link to the Nike Air Jordans, to the Nike website has just been removed. Would you like my backlink to my website showing the Nike Air Jordans? It's slightly better and better for your users or website visitors to read. That's another way you can get a link It's called the broken backlink strategy. Okay, so you can find websites where they've linked to Nike in the past or any website, and you can say to them, "Look, I just see that here, uh, the link has been removed. Would you like to have one of my backlinks that talks about the same product or service?" That's another way you can get a backlink. All right, but aside from that, we're gonna try and find something that isn't. Um, yeah, I will. You know what? Actually, what I'll do is screenshot this. Today. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can help you with that. It's very straightforward. Email, yeah, email marketing for well, email marketing in general has been highly optimized, highly automated. And so, for example, for e-commerce, it's probably one of the most automated marketing channels out there because there's only really one tool that, if you're an e-commerce business, you should use, which is Klaviyo. And so, when you have a Shopify website, for example, you can just download the Klaviyo app, and it is the most straightforward, simple marketing channel I've probably ever used out of all of these. In fact, SEO is probably the hardest, I would say. Um, but email marketing is basically with Klaviyo, they already have the templates, the email flows, the structures, like the email structures in place. And then all you need to do is just change your name to the company name and the branding to your own branding. And you can literally get that set up in less than an hour. It's very straight. Yeah. It's not hard. I mean, it's there's, yeah. Mm. Yeah. I will. Let me see if I can show you on one of the Shopify websites. Let me just type this in, so you've got this as reference. Excuse me. Right. So, broken backlink. Yeah, because it's such an easy channel, and it's obviously one of the first ones that you can set up. SEO typically takes around about 6 months to start to get going. Google Ads, Meta Ads, I mean, you can start from day one and start to scale it up. But email is something you can just set up as you set up your website. You know, when you're setting up a website, you kind of have to set up the email structure anyway as you do it. And so for Shopify, particularly e-commerce websites, like I said, there's a tool called Klaviyo. I would recommend that 10 out of 10 times. It's the best one out of all of the kind of email marketing channels. It is integrated into Shopify perfectly. You know, there's so many uh, basically Shopify and Klaviyo just make it so easy for you to set it up. And if you're an e-commerce business, you've most likely got your website on Shopify anyway. And even if you don't, if you're using WordPress, Klaviyo is still really easy to use. Now, if you're not running an e-commerce business and you're running lead generation business, you can still use Klaviyo, but there are some other tools as well that might just be a little bit better. But I can show you like the main things in email marketing, and I can actually show you as well, even though it's slightly different, I can show you how to cold email. because I do that myself. And so I've got like a cold email infrastructure in place that I use, and I've gone through nearly all of the cold email tools out there. I'm actually going to change it over to something called Smart Lead, because at the moment I'm using a company called Snov, SONV.io. But I can run you through that as well, because cold email is probably, I would say it's probably the best way to learn email marketing. Okay, so with like an e-commerce business, when you're doing email marketing, it's not cold email because someone signed up to the website, they subscribe, they click on your website, they want to get the discount code. Like when you see a pop up, put your email address in. So it's not really, or it's 100% not cold email marketing. Cold email marketing is so much harder. Like you can imagine, right? Cold calling. Okay, so let's say I've got a list of 100 numbers, and I've got to go through every single one of those, and they've never heard of me before, and I've got to cold call them. Now compare that to, let's say someone's come onto my website, watched two of my YouTube videos. They've then watched a couple of blog posts and then given me their email address because they want a case study that I wrote and they want some more information. And now I've got their phone number. Well, that person is pretty much sold. It's going to be way more easier for me to sell that person than the person who's never heard of me before on my cold email. So if you understand how to do cold emails, it will help you with your email marketing when you go into e-commerce or when you even go to lead generation. So, well, lead generation is also part of cold email, but e-commerce is not like a cold email channel. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cold email. Yeah, I mean, both channels work to attract someone to buy something for you. That's why you do email marketing. There's two types of marketing, and this is not just specific to email, but you've got cold email marketing, and we can call it warm email marketing, where someone has given you their email address because they want a 10% discount. They wanted to download a lead magnet that you posted on LinkedIn or YouTube. These people both want something. Well, the warm email people definitely want something from you, and the cold email people mostly probably won't want something from you, but they might. And the cold email is way harder. If you think about someone who's given you their email address versus someone who I've just sent an email to who doesn't know who I am, who's the easiest one to sell to? It's obviously the one that's the person who's given me their email address. So let me just do this and I'll show you. So reach out to the company, link in to the Nike page, and say that I noticed a broken link, and that I also offer Nike Air Jordans, and would they like, and cool. I'm going to try and find another backlink to. So, I mean, you might even be able to just click on. Oh, God's sake. Let me try and do it myself. Let me try and find. How did I learn all of it? Many years, well, coming up to 9, 10 years now, probably longer actually, but like professionally, I would say 9 years. Um, it's I bought loads of courses. First of all, I learned from the best people in SEO. I basically picked out three people who I noticed were putting out the best content on SEO, and I bought their courses. This was many, many years ago. And then I'd done the same with every single channel. And I bought books, loads of books. I probably got maybe 100 books on marketing. I bought just every single book I could find on marketing. And then now what I do is I just condense them down to like a few books and reread them sometimes. Obviously, a lot of the stuff now is changing so much that you can't buy it on books. So the best channel now for learning stuff is YouTube and then paid courses. So you probably heard of school.com. There's a lot of people that create their or put their learning material on those places as well. So I learned from there, but it's just built up over the years, and I'm at the stage where, you know, AI is the new like marketing channel. Okay, so everyone wants to now optimize their website for SEO on ChatGPT, and they call it AEO or GEO or whatever you want to call it. But because I've got the fundamental background and understanding and knowledge of what traditional SEO is, you can basically see that it's 99% the same with a few small tweaks. Because I put this on my pre-reply profile page. Like human being or human behavior is the same pretty much regardless of what marketing channel there is. And so the best way to learn is to learn from like the old school marketers who published their material back in the 1950s, and that stuff they teach in there, if you understand that, then you can learn the tools and how to use SEMrush and SEO and Facebook and Google much more quickly. So that's the main thing. That was how I learned, was learning the fundamentals of human behavior, and then now it's just a matter of me if there's any new tools coming up, like using the platforms. But it's all pretty much the same. As you go through your marketing career, you'll understand that pretty much everything's the same. And what a lot of good marketers do who have been in the game for, let's say, 10, 20, many years plus, is that they try to spin things to make it look new. And it's not, it's very similar. So I'm actually going to show you another plan, and I've got a tool here called Ahrefs. What is your screen showing you at the moment? Because it's not allowing me to show the tab. It's not showing you anything. Maybe it stopped. Okay, cool. There we go. Right, so you've got SEMrush and you've got Ahrefs. These are the two biggest names in the SEO industry. Everyone knows them, and so they're the same tool, exactly the same. I would personally recommend SEMrush, but you can also use Ahrefs as well. There really isn't too much difference, but I do think SEMrush in the last year or so seems to be much better and much more advanced. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to use you know what? I'll show you two things. So I just showed you how to get a broken backlink, and I put that into the document just now. So I've just done that again. So you can see SEMrush gives you three options. You can use a backlink checker, website authority checker, and the broken link checker. So hopefully I can just go straight through and it will show. It's saying no broken because I need to put the Thai version maybe. It should have shown me that broken backlink. All right, this is it. Perfect. Right, so the task I showed you how to do. So what you can do here is you can see that, for example, this website, bibleandpopculture.com, which seems to be a scammy website, has linked to these Nike Air Jordans. You can see that the Town and Country magazine, which is not spam website because the main reputation is 83. You can see the top one is 1. So we're going to go with this one. All right. So I'm going to click on the link, Town and Country. So it's just like, all right. So they've put a blog post in their fashion section about here's what's going on college campuses right now. And so this is an article about clothing wear, and they probably made this article on YouTube, clothing wear, shoes, and technology that's popular with students right now. So we're going to go in and we're going to find like technology, iPhone, MacBook, etc. It's basically a website almost. So we're going to just go down, and somewhere's going to be the link to Nike Jordans. There we go. Coolest sneakers on campus are Nike Jordans. All right. So there's the backlink. What we're going to do, we're going to try and find a person, Sophie Dweck, who's created this article. We're going to click down. We're going to go into her bio. Hopefully not all the time, especially in America, they're quite smart, but in England. So yesterday, I don't know if you remember, but I talked about how in England, they've got one big company called Hearst, and then they've got all of their smaller magazines. And so this is the company here, Hearst. So they own Town and Country magazine. They also own the Country magazine in England as well. So Sophie, on these magazine websites, there'll be like a button with like an email icon, and you can email Sophie. But to find Sophie's email address is very easy. So look, I typed in her name, Sophie Dweck. straight away, Sophie Dweck is a journalist at Town and Country magazine. She's got her own website, so I can just find her email address this way, go onto her contacts, and what I can do is I can either, or I can go through to her LinkedIn page and message her on there and say, "Hi Sophie, love the article about most popular clothing, tech, whatever it is on XYZ campus. Noticed you linked to Nike Air Jordans. I also offer Nike Air Jordans." Or you can even propose something that's not Nike Air Jordans, but she might be interested in. So let's say Adidas XYZ model, and then you can send her a link to your website, and maybe she'll link to you, maybe she won't, maybe she'll ask for money, and then you can pay her money and she'll link to the website. So that's another way to do it. So that's how I would have done that task. Does that make sense? Cool. I think, Safe, we can leave the SEO stuff for now because your knowledge should be getting there. And if you just go through some of the articles and the looms and just go over SEO, and then we can come back to it at another time. So, out of the marketing channels now, do you want to focus on email or do you want to focus on Google, Facebook? What would you like to focus? Meta. Okay, perfect. All right. So, what we can do here. So you're learning about Meta at a pretty good time because when I first started learning about Meta, it was quite a complex platform to use. And as of recently, they've launched a new update called Andromeda. And basically, Andromeda